जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and welcome back. Thank you for joining. Today we are discussing verse number 48 of chapter number 2 from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And in the previous verse, which is a very important verse, Krishna discusses with Arjuna the art of work, or how work must be performed in this material world. So this verse has 4 parts to it, and it's one of the most quoted verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, only the first part of the verse is often quoted. So the verse is Karmanyev adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachanam ma karma phal heturbhur ma te sangostu akarmani. So these 4 parts, where the first part Krishna is saying you have to write to perform your prescribed duties. So what are the prescribed duties? So these are the duties which one perform based on the nature one has. And the work must be done not for the results, but also for its spiritual benefits. The work must help us to elevate spiritually. So the purpose of the work is not only result but purification and knowledge. That should be the purpose of work. And how does that happen? So the internal transformation as well as the knowledge is gained, or purification happens when we worked with detached mode. So detached action gradually leads to internal transformation. When we are not attached to fruits, then that gradually detachment will give knowledge. So this is our right. That's what Krishna is saying, that you should not focus on the result. But most of the time, we are result oriented. We want the result, we don't want to work. But Krishna is saying exactly the opposite, that you have rights to work, but do not be attached to the results. And then Krishna, that's the second line. So that's why I put across, do not be attached to the result. Ma phaleshu kadachanam. You are not entitled to the fruits of the actions, or do not be attached to the results. So do not be attached to the result. Does it mean I don't care about the result, or I should not be concerned about the result? No, the answer is not that. We must be performing the activity in such a way that we should be careful, and we want to attain the result, but we should not be attached to the result. That's what it means. So when we perform, we give our 100% endeavor towards the action. And attachment to the result, creates a lot of anxiety or insecurity. And if we do not get the result, that leads to frustration. So the primary motive, if it is not getting the result, then what is the primary motive? So the primary motive of the action in Karma Yoga, when you are performing Karma Yoga, it is purification of heart. And in Bhakti Yoga, it is to please Krishna. So the results are not that important, and the reason is given in the next line. But for now, let's understand that the action is done to please Krishna. And when the action is done to please Krishna, Krishna is pleased just by our action. He is not judging us by our result. So Krishna judges only by our efforts in the action, while people in general, they judge us by the result. So this thought is very liberating, because Krishna himself is saying, Karmaneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachanam. So Krishna's way of judging a person is not by the result, it is by the action one performs. So why one should not be attached to the result? So that is being discussed in the third line, which is ma karma phal heturbhu. So never consider yourself the cause of the result of your activities. So you should not think, or we should not think, that the result came only because of my efforts. Or we should not think that we are the only cause of the results. Because Krishna later on in Bhagavad Gita explains that there are many other factors which, helps us getting the result. There are 5 factors which is discussed in chapter number 18. So there are many other factors beyond human control, and they play a very important role. Sometimes we call them as destiny or luck or fate. We use different words. But those are the, or prakriti, we call nature. So those are different factors that are very important, or they play a very important role in getting the result. To the extent also we think that we are cause of the result, then we are bound by the reaction of that particular action. So when we think that the result came out because of me, then whatever things that happened while performing the actions, all the things that reactions of that, I have to suffer or enjoy. And when we think that we are the cause, we identify ourselves with the ability, and that increases our bodily misidentification. And instead of real identification as a soul, we identify ourselves as either we are whatever ability we have, and we identify like that. And that's the reason we should not be thinking that the result came out of because of me. So this identification also takes away far from our real identification as a soul. So these are the two things. One, it causes us, it binds us, and when we think that we are the cause, and then we have to enjoy or suffer the result, and then it increases the bodily identification. That's why Krishna is saying ma karma phala heturbo. So the karma phala, the result has come. We should not think that I am the cause of that result. So somebody may say that I just have to act and I should not be attached to the result, and I should not think that this I am the cause of the result, or my actions are the cause of that brought forward the result. Then why should I even act? So that's why Krishna says the last line, Mate sangosto karmani. So Krishna is saying over here, do not be attached to not doing your duty. Means you have to perform actions. Why? Because the soul is active. So when we are inactive, we are not engaging the abilities that is given to us by the Lord. So it's inaction, or so it's action or activity or service that actually purifies us. So the whole purpose of actions, as we discussed in the very first line, is purification and knowledge. So when we perform the actions, so here we see that is purification and knowledge. So when we perform the action, then only we can purify ourselves. How is that? We'll discuss in the upcoming lines. So we cannot artificially actually think of Krishna constantly. We can think of Krishna by rendering service of him. Now why thinking of Krishna is said over here? Because that is actually yoga, and that will be discussed in the next verse. So if we have to work, or if we have to connect in yoga, then we have to think about the Lord. But it is not possible to artificially just think about the Lord without rendering service. So purification of heart happens by engaging our body, mind, words, action in service to Krishna. So when we are engaged, then it is possible to connect with Krishna, not by inaction or not doing anything. And then purification means what? So purification means purify also our tendency of controller, proprietor and enjoyer. So I have put it the word CPE, means controller, proprietor, enjoyer. This is a tendency of any living entity in the material world. They want to control things. They want to be the owner of the things, that is proprietor. And then why they want to control or own things? Because they want to enjoy. So the ultimate tendency of all the living entity is to enjoy. And for enjoyment, this is a tendency. Basically, he wants to enjoy in this material world. And if he wants to enjoy, then he has to go through the cycle of birth and death. So that's why there is a need of purification of heart, that I am not the controller, I am not the proprietor, and I am not the enjoyer. And that happens by acting and taking shelter of Krishna when things don't work. When things don't work as we desire, at that time we understand that we are not the controller, proprietor, or enjoyer. So that's why the action is required. When we perform any actions, we will see sometimes we try to get results as desired, but it is we don't get it. Our actions do not bring forward any kind of results. So that's why at that time we take shelter of Krishna, and then things happen or move forward. So then this purification gradually happens in that way, that we understand that we are not the controller, proprietor, and enjoyer. That's why inaction is not suggested over here. And also, by service and action only we can express our love to Krishna. So that's why Krishna is saying Mate Sangostu Karmani, means you must act. Inaction is not allowed. So in this one verse, Krishna has given the art of work. And the art of work is you just have the rights to perform your duty, but you should not be attached to the results of the activity, and you should not think that the result have come because of me, because there are many other causes. And also one must engage himself in some actions. The action should be actions of service. So Krishna continues this thought in the next verse, which is verse number 48. So let's read the verse. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse number 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam takta dhananjaya siddhi asiddhya samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So the translation is, perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure, and such equanimity is called yoga. So here, for the first time, Krishna is defining yoga. Yoga, samatvam yoga uchyate. That's a definition of yoga. So let's read and let's try to understand the Sanskrit meanings of these Sanskrit words. Meanings of the Sanskrit words. So Yogastha means be situated in yoga. So in chapter 2 verse number 39, Krishna is saying that I will describe this knowledge in terms of yoga. So I will describe this knowledge, means earlier Krishna talked about, before 2.39, Krishna talked about Sankhya. That is, we are not this body, we are soul. And now Krishna is saying in 39th verse, is saying that now I will describe this knowledge in terms of yoga, by which you will stay free from karmic bondage. So that yoga is now being discussed over here. So here Krishna is describing that Yogastha kuru karmani, be situated in yoga and do your karma. So that is the first line. Be situated in yoga and do your karma. How does one do karma? Then that is the line number 2, that is Sangam Tattva Dhananjaya. So Sangam Tattva means without attachment to success and failure. Dhananjaya is name of Arjuna. So he is saying Sangam Tattva. Sangam Tattva means without attachment to success or failure, or basically detached from the fruits of action. What it means to be detached from the worldly fruits or fruits of action? That means whatever one gets, whether success or failures, they stayed equipoised. So that is line number 3. That is Siddhi Asiddhayo Samo Bhutva. So Siddhi over here means in success and failure. Samaha means equipoised. So what it means to be detached from the fully fruitive or from the fruits or worldly fruits is Siddhi Asiddhi. So whenever there is a success or failure, you remain equipoised. So Prabhupada over here says, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Now, the same thing is described in the previous verse, right? That do not get attached to the results. So over here also Krishna is repeating the same message. Siddhi asiddhi samo bhutva means look at the success and failure in an equipoised way. Samo bhutva means stay equipoised. And then if you are acting like this, so such a state of mind, Krishna is saying, samatvam yoga uchyate. So such a state of equanimity, samatvam is equanimity. So such a state of equanimity is yoga uchyate. So yoga, this is called as yoga, or that is the definition of yoga. So this is the very first time Krishna is defining the concept of yoga or giving the definition of yoga. Later on, Krishna will give another definition of yoga. But over here, Krishna is saying, samatvam yoga uchyate. So, equanimity is yoga. So, what is equanimity? So, being equal. Normally, the meaning of yoga means to connect. So, this connection of Atma with Paramatma. So, why Krishna over here he is telling that samatvam yoga uchyate. So such equanimity is the actually platform for practice of yoga. So equanimity is the basis on which one can practice, or platform on which one can practice or connect with Krishna. So when can I connect with Krishna? If my consciousness is absorbed in the material things, then if it is filled with all kinds of desire to enjoy, then I cannot think of Krishna. When I am equipoised about material things, then we can look beyond the matter, and then we can think about Krishna or about the spirituality. So samatvam yoga uchyate means equanimity towards material things, and that is the foundation by which one can practice spiritual life. So everything in this world is temporary, and then in this world we have two kinds of distraction by pleasure and distraction by pain or sorrow. So when we hit this distraction by pleasure or pain, we get either excited or we get agitated, but both are temporary. And when we are not excited by both, we can focus on long-term goals. For example, when somebody is driving the car and is looking everywhere, here and there, then he can't focus because of this excessive agitation of the mind. So similarly, when we have excessive agitation of material things, that we cannot focus. So yoga means to connect, but in order to connect, we need to know the art of yoga, that is staying focused, and that is being equipoised. Therefore, Krishna is over here saying that samatvam yoga uchyate. Being equipoised is the definition, or such an equanimity is called as yoga. So one must rise above the material attachment to success and failure and remain equipoised. And that state of mind is basically the initial definition of yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada is talking about in the purport. So Prabhupada defines first what is yoga. So Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. So here Prabhupada talks about this yoga definition in terms of bhakti. So this whole chapter 2, you will see there are two levels of discussion. One level is at the level of Nishkama Karma Yoga, whereas Prabhupada in the purport is giving us the understanding of Krishna consciousness directly. Krishna is going to speak about the Krishna consciousness or whatever Prabhupada is writing in the purport in the later chapters. But Prabhupada is directly connecting us to the final message of Gita, which is bhakti. So therefore, in terms of bhakti, yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme. Means Supreme over here is Krishna, by controlling the ever disturbing senses. Who is that Supreme? And who is that Supreme? That Prabhupada is saying the Supreme is the Lord Krishna. Because in Bhagavad Gita later on, Krishna reveals about himself. So far, Krishna has not revealed about himself. So in terms of the purports, it is about Krishna, but however in terms of the translation or what Krishna is mentioning, it is in terms of the Nishkama Karma Yoga. So next, Prabhupada is discussing how should Arjuna fight. And because he himself is telling, means Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Okay, and that we have discussed in the previous verse, Karmana eva adhikaraste and ma phaleshu kadachanam. So the Arjuna should not focus on the result. Because Krishna has instructed Arjuna to fight, that means Arjuna has to fight. He should not think of the result. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. So here Krishna is telling him to engage in the war and re-establish dharma. So Arjuna should only focus on that and he should not worry about the result. He should give his best but should not worry about the result. So here the definition is action in yoga is concentrate mind upon Supreme by controlling senses. Right? So that is yoga. And the real yoga is following Krishna's instruction without considering loss or gain. So that is the last paragraph we have discussed. How Krishna consciousness is real yoga? The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. And this is practiced in the process called as Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness, only one can give up the sense of proprietorship. So as we discussed in the 47th verse in the beginning, that all of us has this tendency of controller, proprietor or enjoyers. But when we serve Krishna, then we are not the controller, proprietor or enjoyer. We are the servant and we are trying to serve the Lord. So in that case, we are not the owner. Krishna is the owner and we are just his servant. But we enjoy by serving the Lord. So one has to become servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna, right? So servant of Krishna means the devotees of Krishna. That is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 13.18. That is the right way to discharge your duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one act in yoga. So when we are serving Krishna, our focus is service to Krishna. So our mind, body, intelligence, action is all focused on serving the Lord. So then everything comes under control by itself. We don't have to separately make endeavor to control our senses. So that way our senses are also controlled, and when our senses are controlled and when we are in meditation of serving Krishna, then the purification of mind happens. So therefore fighting in Krishna consciousness as recommended yoga practice for Arjuna. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such he is participating in the Varnashram Dharma of institution, Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said that Vishnu Puran that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. So this is given that the goal of Varnashram Dharma is to satisfy Vishnu, and no one should satisfy himself as a rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So this is the whole Varnashram system is designed in such a way that there are different Varnas and different ashrama, but the central goal is to satisfy Vishnu. Everybody is trying to serve the Lord, serve Lord Vishnu, and nobody is trying to enjoy himself by his own. Because if we want to enjoy him on our own, then it comes as a package. We have to also suffer the reaction of the action. And the reaction of the action is will keep us in the cycle of birth and death. So no one should satisfy himself as a rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principle of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him, because Krishna and Vishnu both are same. So that's why, if he acts on the advice of Krishna, then he is acting for Vishnu, which is by the means, he is performing his Varnashram Dharma. So that is what is recommended for Arjuna. So I think this is what is discussed in the purport, and I put it in the presentation format over here for you to study. So with this, we'll stop here. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande Haribol.